International Chess Org has barred trans women. International Chess Federation, FIDE, has released new guidelines targeting trans players. The guidelines would strip trans men's titles and potentially bar trans women from playing. If ever you needed more evidence that this hysteria about trans people in sports has literally nothing to do with facts, reality, science, or biology, and everything to do with maintaining social hierarchy, here you go, folks. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Being trans, I guess, just makes you smarter and therefore gives you an unfair advantage in chess. Many such cases. A biological advantage at chess. Ah, I know why it is. You guys know about that one, like, Russian chess dude who had, like, a vibrator up his ass, right? Well, because trans women are more accustomed to toys up the ass, they would have an easier time cheating. Like, every trans woman is potentially, like, a vehicle for, unfair chess play. That was also in It's Always Sunny episode. He was American, not Russian. He was was he fighting? Was he playing against a Russian compared to cis women? I assume that trans women are more familiar with that particular technique than cis women. That certainly seems to be the case based on what you idiots are shit posting about on Twitter 24/7. It's this guy. This was like the funniest day in professional chess ever, perhaps. God, I wish I could play the clip. Here we go. Okay, the International Chess Org is just trying to avoid this situation every single time a trans woman competes. Vosh, the cheating method was never proven. It doesn't matter. I choose to believe that it was the vibrating ass toy. It's too funny to be fake. I don't care, I believe. It's spiritually true. Does the article cite any official justification, or is it literally just bigotry? That's an excellent question. Let's find out. In recent months, the discussion on trans participation in sports has intensified, blah, blah. Disc golf, billiards, based on perceived advantages of trans athletes. The reaction to trans people in competition has grown to include non-sporting events like beauty pageants and Jeopardy. The fact that conservatives were calling for trans women to be barred from beauty pageants is like the funniest tell-all imaginable. Trans women have an unfair advantage over cis women in being beautiful. Oh, really? Is that true? Said every oomphy on Twitter, you know? Is that true? The funny thing is that if they were ideologically consistent, conservatives would be laughing and they would be like, "Hey, yeah, you let your trans chicks into your women's beauty pageants and we'll see who wins," you know? But they know that their whole "we can always tell" bullshit is bullshit, so they keep it, they keep it up. Jeopardy because a trans woman was dominating for a bit. That's because trans women are autistic. Now, FIDE, the world's foremost international chess org, has introduced guidelines that would revoke titles from trans men and bar many trans women from competing. There we go. Now, is a reason given? Also, what country is FIDE hosted in? Is it truly international? Based in Switzerland. Okay. There are 200 national associations. Why is chess gendered? It's a mind game. Because it's the same reason, like, seriously, splitting sports between men and women there's some sense to it when we're talking about athletic sports, but in large part, people just, like, thoughtlessly imitate that tradition in line with, like, misogynistic social standards. Like, these standards were normalized back over 100 years ago when men and women couldn't even look each other in the eye in the street without some morality police officer shooting both of them. So it makes sense that these, would carry forward. Also, I imagine a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of men literally could not stomach being beaten by a woman. Like, imagine it's like 1922 or something, and a woman loses to a man in chess. Like, I'm sure she's upset, but okay. If a man lost to a woman, he would, like, disembowel himself on the floor right there. The president of FIDE is literally a Russian politician. Well, I don't think that necessarily means that it's not an international org. Russia has an extremely long legacy of being the producer of chess masters, so it would make sense that the head of the org would be Russian. Yeah, 40% effort, but a lot of the reason why women don't play chess, or in fact do a lot of other things like that, is because the leagues are split. Everyone knows that people pay more attention to men's leagues in these sports, so women are discouraged from participating because even if they're extremely good, they're just the best woman. They don't get to compete with men. When it comes to chess, just let women just mix the leagues, man. So you'll have few women participating, whatever. Like, that's their choice. It's literally not like a sex-based sport. It's totally disconnected. It does not seem like any reason has been provided for why trans women and trans men can't be with the men and women or whatever, you know? Yeah, it just seems like they're saying it. Just vibes. I read an article before about how women chess players wanted a segregated league because men kept harassing them. I understand that, but I don't really know if that's a workable long-term solution, right? Like, that way, chess will always be a man's game because all the women who try to get in, it's like, oh, well, here's the women's league. And now, like, the organization officially mandates its separation. I don't think that really solves the issue. That's like saying, like, have, like, a separate black and white league because black people were tired of being treated in a racist fashion by the white people who are in the majority league. Like, that sucks. That's really bad, obviously. I just don't think that that's a solution to the issue. Women can already participate against men in chess. And yet, there's an open league and a women's league. Women can participate in the open league. They just don't because of harassment. Trans men must relinquish their titles after transitioning. Trans women can keep their male titles. Trans women have, quote, no right to compete in the women's division. Trans women will be evaluated by the FIDE Council on if they will be allowed to compete in a process that may take up to 2 years. FIDE can mark trans players as transgender in their files. Gender changes must, quote, must be comply with players' national laws and may include birth certificate documents. So, like, how does any of this make sense? Feminine chess uses lighter pieces, I guess. Ah, that's it. The male chess leagues, the chesses are the pieces are made of tungsten. You know, they have depleted uranium pawns they're moving around, and the women have like little painted styrofoam, like on doilies. Only men can use lead. Yeah, it's the Rock Lee scene or whatever, you know, where you're playing against you're in the open league. You're a guy playing against a woman. You're like, this woman can't compete with the weight of our pieces. Her speed is unmatched compared to mine. And she's like, oh, hold on a second. Guess this piece is taken. I don't need it anymore. And she holds a pawn out over the ground. Then it drops in a crater. The dust billows up everywhere. What's the just like tungsten weighed down, you know? Hold on. Heaviest element. Give me the densest shit. Oganesson, okay? With a 300 atomic mass. This is probably so radioactive that if you ever got enough of it together to make a single, like, pawn, it would instantly explode and vaporize half the planet. Okay. Osmium is denser? Gotcha. Osmium chess pieces. Let's go. Let's go! This guy is the director of chess development at FIDE, by the way. Really? Nigel Short says men are hardwired to be better chess players than women. Holy shit, look at this guy's fish face. Oh, man. We don't take kindly to strangers around here. Shadow over Innsmouth asked, Jesus Christ. And this is from 8 years ago, too. Imagine what he looks like now. UK Grandmaster provokes anger and derision with suggestion we should, quote, gracefully accept that men are... I feel like, you know that whole thing where geeks are like, man, girls only like jocks who treat them like shit, not nice guys like us. I feel like that's all chess players. Like, jocks are out there, like football players are out there raping like 3 women a night, sure. And all the chess dudes are just wishing they could do that, but they can't because they all look like fish people and they have no social skills. But they would if they could, is the thing. So over here in the chess leagues, they're doing this like patronizing incel sexism, like fantasizing about being the Giga Chad, you know? But they're fundamentally the same. I know about ELO rankings. That's not a chess thing specific. I mean, by the sound of that statement, we don't need just women playing chess there. We also need jocks to shove this guy in the locker. Yes! We need so the problem is that all of human society is broken down into alpha males and beta males, and then Stacy's and Becky's. And the problem is that in chess, there are only Becky's and beta males. So we don't have Stacy's and alphas to complete the cycle of human engagement. The social net isn't, we don't have all 4 of the genders present, okay? So what we need to do is we need like a bunch of hot, like Mean Girls blondes to show up with like bare midriffs and high heels and cheer from the sidelines and like just be absolute bitches to the people who lose. And we also need alpha dude bros in there to like every once in a while knock an ongoing game over because they like hip check it while trying to travel by with the ball. I think that'll fix it. Do you agree? This will also fix the issue with trans people because the simpering incel betas will be too mad at the jocks to be transphobic. They'll have a different... Yeah. Okay. We got this. That's just chess boxing. Yeah. Alpha, beta, Stacy, Becky. Long ago, the 4 genders lived in harmony. Then some Russian chess master attacked. How do Sigma males fit into your theory? Well, Sigma males by does anyone else remember how Sigma males originally meant? Like, the term Sigma male was originally a cope made by betas to describe how they were alpha despite having no social skills whatsoever. A Sigma male was like a super high value man who took his own way, but it was like by autistic guys or whatever. But now everyone just says Sigma and nobody says alpha anymore. So clearly people value being Sigma over being alpha, meaning that Sigma always was the alpha, and we were just looking for an excuse to valorize being socially incompetent. Wait, do you unironically think alpha and beta is a real social thing? No. They're fun archetypes to joke about. Also, obviously, there are, like, me don't take kindly to people over here in Innsmouth guys, and then there were, like, Chads or whatever, so... What is going on? Are you guys seriously not familiar with my Sigma Alpha Beta Stacy Becky phrenology course? Get it on Nebula, okay? Only $15 a minute to watch. Trust me, it's worth it. Never do that voice again. But that's what he looked like. That's what Nigel Short looked like. He looks like a Innsmouth villager. That's what he looks like. What's the name of the game that I'm pulling that voice from? It wasn't Call of Cthulhu. It was the other big Eldritch game. It's the older one. Shadows, Dark Corner of the Earth? Dark Corners of the Earth. Thank you. Dark Corners of the Earth. I need to play this game. I've only seen the Mandalore review. Dark Corners of the Earth, Villager. I can't find, like, voice lines. Can I find it from the video?
Nope.
Hold on. Gameplay mechanics and pacing, music, and sound design. Give it to me.
Just don't know. The sound design can be a lot of fun, like here. Then sometimes it makes me never want to open a door. There's one part where you go into a house
Mommy's upstairs.
you don't save in the same slot twice in a row. That usually fixes.
Here it's 725. 725?
Door. I hear that.
Here we go. Thank you.
Spoilers. While it's not a different game every chapter, things do get shifted around a lot. The prologue gave the impression that Call of Cthulhu would be an adventure game, and the first chapter holds that up. Investigate the town of Innsmouth.
Could you direct me to the First National Grocery Store? I hear they have a shop in town.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, well, you see, I'm looking for a young lad called Brian Burnham. I'm a friend of the family. He worked in the store.
Don't know who you're talking about, fella.
Innsmouth is incredible.
Do you know the Burnham lad? He worked...
Please, stop bothering me, stranger.
Whether or not you know the backstory, just exploring through the town is an experience.
Give me the big gurgly
There's
voice.
something so obviously wrong with the town, and if you look hard enough, you'll find peaks of things to come. Even though the town is populated, it gives me the same feeling the first time I
Give me the
played
gurgle
Silent
voice.
Hill. There's something out to get you. Jack starts having visions through the eyes of you from the
Gurgle
shadows.
voice.
While you invest
First National.
Ken Riley says I know him. Innsmouth don't take too kindly to them from out of town. Get lost, stranger.
There we go. That's the guy I'm doing every time I do that bit.
Ken Riley says that I know him.
The old woman's dead. Do you need any help?
Maybe. All right, sorry. That's what I'm ripping from every time I do that voice. This looks like Pathologic. Yes, it does. There definitely is a graphical similarity. Yeah. You don't sound like that. Well, I haven't watched that video in a while. I'm aping my voice of my memory of it. Teach us chess. Okay.